thank the grace of heaven and the virtues of the masters and the mercy of the predecessors, transmitters, temple masters, lecturers for giving me this opportunity to continue, to talk about this topic today, which is, we say, the cultivation of the Noble Eightfold Paths. Okay. So all of you should have a handout. It's basically an outline. It's a 2-pager, and it kind of like summarizes. Gives me basically an outline of how I'm going. What some of the areas that I'm going to dwell into. Now, there are 3 additional files. I don't want to take this outline. Let's see, what's this one? No, that's not the right one. It's this one. Yeah, okay. There are 3 other files, but we're not going to give you the handout because they were passed out in previous classes, and there are a lot of pages, so it's not. There's more detail. Like this one talks about. It's not. Yeah, it's a little bit detailed. Okay, it talks about the Noble Eightfold Paths. Okay. And then there's another one which goes even more detail, which talks about I added this. It's a spreadsheet. It looks like something like this. It's basically the Noble Eightfold Paths, but it's from a different perspective. More in depth, more advanced, more advanced. And I went through this class already, but it's. I took 2 classes, but it's a lot of detail. It's a lot of detail. And for those of you who don't have a background or who've never heard of the Noble Eightfold Path, it'll be difficult to absorb. So it'll be a lot to take. So I'm not going to go into detail, but I just want to, let you know that I might refer in today's class. I might refer to some of the details in here, okay, okay. So that's the second file. Then the third file that I might reference to in some detail is this thing called the Glossary of Terms for Buddha Nature class. It's like 19 pages long. It has like 110 terms in there, 10 plus terms. And I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna reference some key things inside here that relates to our to the outline, okay, to the outline that you'll see in front of you, that you have in front of you, and I'll make a reference to it when we get there, okay. It's basically all right. So those are the backups, okay. That I call them the backups, but. Okay, all right, so, yeah, okay. So we could begin by talking about the Noble Eightfold Path, all right, okay, which is this outline, right, the outline, okay? So the first overview, background, if you will, the Noble Eightfold Path is a teaching, it's the first teaching, really, it's the first teaching by Buddha right after his enlightenment, to his 5 fellow ascetic ascetic cultivators that he was cultivating with for, I think, like 6 to 8 years, something like that. Okay, at the deer park at Sarnath. Okay, so in present day India, you could still go there and visit the deer park. Okay, that's considered one of the holy sites of Buddhism. Okay, that's supposed. Okay, and so. His first teaching after enlightenment was called the Dharmakakara Pravartana Sutra, or the setting in motion the wheel of Dharma. Okay, so that's a very appropriate title for that teaching. Okay, now in that teaching he introduced the concept of the middle path, the middle way, the notion of impermanence, the notion of causality, and the notion of anatta, okay, or non-self, non-self identity, non-self nature, okay. We'll go into a little detail later on in in the component section. Okay, and specifically in this case the middle the Noble Eightfold Path is called. It's also the part of the what we call the seventh set of 7 categories or factors of the 37 limbs or aids of enlightenment. See, so for those of you who are totally new to Buddhism, you wouldn't know what this is. And it's in the glossary here that we have it. Okay, and these terms like the first group, there's a second group, there's a third group, etc., etc. But I'll go into that when I get there. Okay. There are 7 sets. Okay, 7 groups, subgroups that comprise the 37. Okay, all right. So don't worry. I mean, the reason why this is important. I mean, yes, the significance of why we have to we mention these 37 aids is because Buddha, throughout all his various teachings for his 50 years of teaching, referred to, a lot of his teachings or doctrines as part of those 37 limbs or aids of enlightenment. They're basically components. You can say they're concepts or they're ideas, notions that basically comprise, if you will, another way of looking at it, comprise all his teachings. Basically, you can say, if you want to reduce, Buddha had, several thousand sutras, several thousand teachings, sermons, teachings, etc. Several thousand. So one way to if you want to summarize and simplify, if you will, or reduce all those sutras, 37,000, 33,000 plus, or 3 or 5,000, something like that. You can reduce it to those 37 concepts or points or limbs. He called it limbs. Aids to branches. You can say 37 branches for enlightenment. So that's why these 37 branches or aids are very important. And the Noble Eightfold Path is the last set. So there are 8, right? Remember, that's why it's called Eightfold Path, right? There are 8 out of the 37. All right. Actually, the Noble Eightfold Path, as I will tell you later on, actually encompasses all 37. But that's okay. We'll talk about later on. Now, to go into detail about what are the Noble Eightfold Paths, it's divided as follows. The first 2 paths are considered part of wisdom, are called the wisdom category, if you will. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th paths are called the sila or precepts or moral conducts, etc., etc. So you'll see that in here. So the first 2 paths are called wisdom. Wisdom, and then the 3rd, 4th, 5th are called ethical conducts. And then the last 3 are called concentration. Or dhyana. 6, 7, and 8 are called dhyana, concentration, or samadhi. Samadhi is a higher level, but the same thing. So those 3 categories, wisdom, ethical conduct or moral discipline, and concentration, are called the 3 non-outflow studies. That's very important. In Buddhism. The 3 non-outflows called outflows. Well, what's an outflow study? If you look at the glossary here. So that's why if you go to glossary. Oops. I gotta go up. Here. The 3 non-outflow studies are right here. Are called the 3 non-outflows are the threefold practice, 3 pillars. That's the 3. The moral discipline, precepts, meditation, dhyana, and wisdom. And why are they important? In category that's called non-outflow, because they offset what we call the 3 outflows or 3 leakages right here. The 3 outflows. And what is an outflow? An outflow in Buddhism basically are things or are something, qualities or states that we say feed the stream of mortality. That is, that continues the vicious cycle of samsara, or birth, death, rebirth, death. Okay, or people call it reincarnation for short. Okay, all right. And what are they? What are the three outflows? They are, in other words, another way of saying is that all samsara, or the causes or the drivers, if you will, of samsara or reincarnation, or that in the vicious cycle, are three items: desires, material phenomena, or you can say material phenomena, and ignorance. Okay, ignorance. So those are what. These are the three, you could say, drivers or qualities or states which drive samsara. Okay, samsara. So all human beings that are not enlightened are subject to that, or are influenced by that. Okay, or have those qualities, you can say. Okay, so Buddhism, in Buddha's teachings, he said all his teachings, okay, are called non-outflow, because all his teachings are about transcending this, transcending samsara. In other words, transcending samsara, which is to get rid of the three outflows or leakages. Understand? So it's called so in Buddha, in specifically in our case, in today's case, on the topic of the Noble Eightfold Path, it's part of the three non-outflow studies, because it has these three categories. Understand? So all Buddha's teachings actually contain these three qualities. Understand? The three non-outflows. Okay? Okay? So that's how you can identify. Okay? All right. So that's that. All right? Okay? So that's what it means, okay, by non-outflow. Okay? So that's why we call it, three non-outflow studies. Okay? So that's what it is here. Okay? In the spreadsheet. All right? So now let's go back to the... All right. Okay. So now let's go to the components, or the piece, the parts of the Eightfold Paths. Okay, the first one is called proper view understanding. Okay, it's on your outline, I have at the end, after every letter in this section 2 components, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that refers to those 8 paths. Okay, all right. So that's just to let you know. All right. So. Okay, so the first path is called proper view, proper understanding. Okay, and that's very important, because now that happens to be the first, not the other, but for a very good reason, because it's the initial step towards the awakening, if you will, of our Buddha nature. Okay, because Buddhas, all sentient beings have a Buddha nature. Okay. Have a, you can say, true self, true nature, and what are the qualities of that true nature? You have to go to the glossary, and we have it here at the bottom, near the bottom here. But just for your information, it's okay. It's down here. Where is it? It's down here. Where is it? It's like this. It's basically like this. It's tathata suchness. That's a Buddha nature, Dharma nature, Buddha tathata. That Buddha tathata means true suchness. So what is suchness? What is suchness? Suchness is basically something that is non-attached, non-dualistic, unperturbed, unmoving, unchanging. Okay? That's what it is. Okay? That's what our Buddha nature is. It's eternal. It's timeless. It's changeless. It's dimensionless. Okay? That's what it is. All right? It always exists. You can say that's our, also here, our essence. Let's see, where is that term? Our essence, right here. Essence. Okay? All right? You can say that's the principle. Yes. Okay? Our essence. All right? And people say, well, what about my consciousness? What about my thoughts? Okay. Or even feelings, emotions, sentiments, memory, whatever. It's really this. It's just the functions, applications, or effects of that essence, of that suchness, of that dimensionless essence. Okay? So that essence, our Buddha nature, you can say it's like a type of awareness, but that awareness comes from that essence. Okay. All right. So that just okay. So if you want to, okay. So I'm not gonna go too much detail, but I mean, we could. There's a time. I'm gonna go to. So okay, and then so part of the first noble path is to understand the Four Noble Truths. So what is the Four Noble Truths? You go in here. Oops, go in here. Oops, okay, right here. Okay, the Four Noble Truths. Right? Okay. It's basically the first one is life is suffering. Existence is suffering. Okay. Now, dukkha is translated as suffering, but that's very narrow view. Actually, dukkha in Sanskrit implies, yes, there's a physical aspect, you can say suffering, but there's also two other components. One is the notion of impermanence. Nothing is permanent, okay? It's always changing or subject to change or conditioned. And the third is that it's imperfect. So any existence is not perfect. Ooh, yeah. And why? Why is not perfect? Because we suffer. Because we are subject to suffering, defilements, and also birth and death. Okay? Beginning and end. Right? So it's not eternal. In other words, it's not eternal. Or impermanent. What do you say? Impermanent. Okay? So that's why the first truth is called the truth of suffering. We say dukkha. We say suffering. Dukkha. So life is a sea of suffering. So that tells us what life is, what the existence is. It's conditioned phenomena. Okay? It's a conditioned phenomena. Okay, second truth is, now what's the origin of this suffering, of this imperfection, of this non-permanence or impermanence? It's because we're ignorant. Because there's ignorance that lead to wrong views, to doubts, right? I say doubts, wrong views, doubts, desires, and attachments or cravings, and aversions. Aversions means dislike, okay? Right? Okay? Cravings means like, right? You crave something, right? You like something. And that tie us to suffering and reincarnation, etc. So that's the why. That's the why of life, or life is suffering, or dukkha. And so that leads to our awakening. Okay? If we ask why, right? Buddha asked why, right? Why life has a beginning and end? Why is there suffering? Why is impermanence? Blah, blah, blah. So that's why he began his process of awakening. Okay? All right. The third truth is that, when he became enlightened, he understood, he realized, well, we say enlightened, okay, that there is a place, because a place, or a way out. Maybe that's a better term. A way out of this suffering. A way out of this endless cycle of reincarnation, of samsara, right? Okay? So he says, by relinquishing the cravings and desire that ties to samsara, we can have nirvana. Okay? That's where. Okay? Realization. He realized, that there is a way out. That there's a way out. That, we are not condemned to suffer forever. Okay? Or ceaselessly. Whatever. Okay? So that there is a way out. Okay? So that's called nirvana. Actually, the nirvana, nibbana in Chinese, nibbana, literal definition in Sanskrit, it means no birth, no death. Literally, that's what it means. Literally, okay? Or cessation of birth and death, or cessation of suffering, or something like that. Okay? So, okay. So then the fourth truth is that there is a path, a pathway, a road to attain nirvana, okay, or to reach nirvana, if you will, okay, and that is to follow the Eightfold Paths as a way. All right, okay. So that's the how part. How do I attain? How do we reach nirvana? Reach is metaphorical. It's not really what it means. That there's no place, location that's called nirvana. That's not what it meant. Okay, what it means. Okay, all right. So now we know that. Okay, so that's the Four Noble Truths. Okay, so basically, the proper understanding or view is that we have to accept these Four Noble Truths. We have to understand. We have to realize it, understand it. So that's what life is all about. Okay, or blah blah. Okay, so that's called proper understanding. All right, proper view. Okay, All right? Now, once with this understanding, we will have what we call, if you go back to the outline, number 3, under A, right? Part A, is the penetrative insight, which is called vipassana in Sanskrit. It's or in Chinese, it's called 照见 or 限量. Okay, 照见, right? 照见, yeah. 光照的照. What? Yeah. But that's a literal translation. That's literal translation, or 限量. Okay, or direct insight, immediate insight, without what? Without any cognitive processing. What's cognitive processing? We learned that all in school. That's our society. That's the way our earthly realm is. We learn all about cognitive processing in this world. We go to school. You learn what's 1 plus 1, 2. What's 2 plus 1, 3. What's 3 plus 1, 4. That's cognitive. Okay, that's learning. Yes, it's knowledge, but it's also thinking. How do we deduce? So if 3 plus 1 is 2, right? What's 3 minus 1? It's 3 plus 1 is 3. 4. What's 3 minus 1? All that. That's called cognitive process. So it's actually deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. Deductive and inductive. Yeah, inductive. Deductive and inductive. Okay, deductive means going from the general to the specific, and inductive means going from the specific to the general. Okay, so it's both ways. Okay, science in general uses inductive reasoning. They do experiments, right, to validate, and then they use a lot of people do different experiments to validate a theory, right? Theory of relativity, blah blah blah, all that. Okay, whereas deductive reasoning is often used by everyday, people. Police use deductive reasoning. Sherlock Holmes. Anybody know Sherlock Holmes? Mm-hmm. He's well known for what? Deductive process, right? Deductive. He knows a general thing. Oh, somebody got murdered. Oh, somebody got robbed. Okay, let's examine the facts. Let's do forensic analysis. Let's do victimology. Blah blah blah. Motive, opportunity, all that stuff. That's deductive reasoning. Get it? So in school, throughout school, that's all we learn. Either deductive reasoning or inductive reasoning. Boy, are we on the wrong track. According to Buddha, that's not how we're going to become enlightened. Why? Look how many PhDs, how many Nobel Prize winners. Are they enlightened? Are they Buddhas? Obviously not. So I don't care how many PhDs you have. You could have a zillion of them. It doesn't matter. Get it? Okay, so that's why it's not called, that's just called cognitive process. It just means you're smart. Yeah, you have a big intellect. You have a high IQ. Who cares? Buddha said, hey, you know what? Enlightenment is even better. It's even more fair. It's equal. Because you could be dumb as a rock or smart as a Einstein, but both of you can become enlightened. Hello? Wow, that's pretty good, huh? Good deal, eh? Okay, so that's why. Okay, so enlightenment does not depend on our cognitive reasoning processes. Huh? Okay, so that's why it's called vipassana. Vipassana means direct insight. And where does that insight come from? From that Buddha nature that I talked about, earlier. All right? Okay, so that's very important. Okay? So that's what proper understanding and proper view will allow us to have that. Okay? All right? Okay, so what is that insight into true nature reality? So I said, for example, the 3 Dharma seals. I'll go into the detail what the 3 Dharma seals are. That come on number 8. Number 7, sorry. Proper mindfulness. Okay, and then the 4 inverted views. I don't have it here, but the 4 inverted views, it's in the glossary here. That's why we have the glossary here. 4 inverted views. Okay. Okay, that's why I gotta make references to these glossary terms. Okay, 4 inverted views coming up. Right here. Right, 4 inverted beliefs or wrong views regarding to what is really impermanent to be permanent, what is really suffering to be joy, what is not self to be self, what is impure to be pure. Very generic. So example. People think, oh, the universe is permanent. Yeah, actually that's wrong, right? Because science proved that, the Big Bang is 14, 15 billion years ago, whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter, whatever. So that's wrong. Or neutrons, or not protons, or elementary particles are permanent. Wrong, because they constantly change. Okay, I mean, okay, right, okay. So, or even let's look at a human level. Most of us think, oh, especially the young people, you know, they say, oh yeah, you know, I'm young, I'm healthy, you know, I'm gonna live forever. Wrong, right? Well, when you get older, when your back start aching, when you start having arthritis, and you say, oh man, yeah, you know, when are my days gonna be over, right? So anyway, okay, so that's why, okay, so that's an inverted view, okay? It's called upside down thinking, inverted. And what is suffering to be joy? That's a good one, okay? Suffering. People say, oh, that's life, you know, yeah, there are ups and downs, but you know what? I'm still happy. Now, for most human people, they would say, yeah, listen, I mean, look at the rest of the world. You know, we in America, at least, you know, yeah, you know, we may have lousy politics, you know, whatever, you know, high taxes, you know, whatever, you know, but you know what? At least we're okay here, you know, so I'm happy, you know, I get along, I get to watch, you know, my Sunday games, football, baseball, basketball, whatever, you know, the Olympics. I get to have my beer, I get to have, you know, I still have a happy family, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Actually, so they say, hey, yeah, that's joy. That's happy, right? I'm happy. Actually, from Buddha's point of view, that's an illusion. That's a delusion. That's a delusion. So that's not really joy. That's still suffering. That's still suffering. Why? Because, hey, you're not going to get sick? You're not going to get sick? You're not going to have arthritis? Huh? You're not going to catch a cold? Flu, right? There's a flu going around. Okay? All right? Okay? So you're not going to have a storm coming on and flood your house or whatever. You're going to have suffering. Okay? And eventually, we're going to have to go, right? Okay? So that's still suffering. Okay? So what is the self not to be sad? That means, people say, hey, you know, especially the intellectuals, you know, the intellects. They would say, you know, I'm smart, but, you know, I believe that there is a consciousness in all of us. That's eternal. Even if I die, you know, yeah, my body dies, but my conscience lives on. Ooh. That's delusion too. Because your consciousness is composed, it's made up, it's conditioned. Remember I said conditioned phenomena earlier, right? It's conditioned. It's conditioned partly by what we call karma, by our prior lives, accumulation of whatever. Desires, emotions, whatever, okay? And by the current life's actions, deeds, thoughts, habits, whatever, all that. That's what it is, okay? All right? So that's, even our consciousness is not everlasting. It's not real. So it's not a true I, okay? The only true I is our Buddha nature. Remember I mentioned that Buddha nature in the beginning? That true suchness, that essence, that not dimensionless, timeless, changeless, unperturbed, non-attached, all that. That's the only thing that's permanent, okay, or eternal, okay. All right. So it's not our mind. Yeah, you can say Buddha mind, maybe. Okay, you qualify. But when most people talk about mind, they talk about the conscious mind, right? The human conscious. Okay. All right. And what is impure to be pure? They think, oh, my body is pure, my mind is pure. Wrong, because it's still subject to defilement. Okay? Alright? The only thing that's pure is our Buddha nature. It's non-stainable, undefilable, impeccable. You can say perfect. Yeah, perfect. Okay? Alright? Okay, so that's what it is. Alright? So a lot of details. Right? A lot of information. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay? Now, what in the first view, if we cultivate it properly, if we make an effort, we can help eliminate our wrong views. And that will what? Overcome our third poison of ignorance. Right? Remember? The Four Noble Truths? Right? The cause of suffering is because we're ignorant. Right? We don't know. We don't have the proper view. We don't have the proper understanding of what? Not just life, but of the true reality or the true nature of life or things in general, of everything. Okay? All right? Okay, so by proper understanding of view will help us overcome the third poison of ignorance, right? Remember, right? The sandu, right? The three poisons, right? Okay, good. All right. So now let's go to the second one, right? Okay, second one is the proper intentions or thoughts. Okay, proper intent or thought. Okay. So what are they? They are basically, you can break it down to like four pieces, 4 parts. Okay, it's I think in detail. Yeah, I didn't have it here. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's kind, loving intentions or thoughts. Okay, we should transform or have kind and loving thoughts. Okay, try to have that, because that will transform to compassion and tolerance. Okay, right. Okay. Second one is to have benevolence and nonviolence, or benevolent and nonviolent, or nonviolent thoughts. Okay, benevolent, nonviolent, or harmless. Okay, thoughts. Okay, as opposed to what? Cruel thoughts. Okay, bad thoughts. Okay, cruelty. Okay, or inhumane. So that will what? Be turned into what? Mercifulness and humaneness. Is there such a word? Yeah, I guess there is. Humaneness. Okay. Humanity, humaneness. It means merciful. We're very merciful. It's a little bit different from compassion, okay? Because compassion is the first one. It just means merciful. That means we are almost like empathy. You can say it's almost like empathy, okay? All right? Okay. Then also we should have detachment. Thoughts of detachment and unselfishness. Okay, what's a detachment? Detachment is really equanimity, meaning willing to give up, willing to sacrifice, willing to let go. Maybe that's a better term. Willing to let go. Don't become attached. Remember the Four Noble Truths? One of the causes of the suffering is because our wrong views lead to, or ignorance lead to wrong views, which lead to what? Attachments. Right. So the idea is to try not to have attachments, i.e. detachment, okay? Or let go. Let go of our bad thoughts. Let go of our hate. Let go of our grudges, or ill feelings, blah, blah, blah. So now, I'm saying those negative things, but then also it's on the positive side too. Let go of obsession. Let go of love even. Love. Love. Because what I mean by love is not this loving kindness, but the physical love, or selfish love. Maybe that's a better term. Okay, all right. Okay, let go of those type of feelings, emotions. Okay, and be selfless or unselfishness, and that will turn to non-bias and equanimity. Okay, all right. Non-bias meaning non-discrimination, non-differentiation, no what? 能所, or what we call subject-object duality. That's another term here, but subject-object duality. Okay, and let's see, what's it called here? Right here, subject-object duality, as in I do it, or what? I can do, or whatever I do. Okay, so you have a subject and an object. Get it? Okay, so that's what subject object. So the whole idea of equanimity or non-bias means there's no subject object duality. There's no more me and you, me against you, or us against them. Understand? Okay, it's all one. We're all the same. Because from a Buddha's perspective, we may have what? Different colors, different sizes, different shapes, different ages, whatever, different backgrounds, different education, blah, blah, blah. But to him, to Buddha, that's unimportant. Those are all conditioned. Get it? Those are all conditioned phenomena. Condition, right? Condition. Those are conditional. The only thing that's non-conditional is what? We all have a Buddha nature. We're all sentient beings. To him, to Buddha, Buddha's perspective, that is, we're all the same. We're all one. The rest is just window dressing. Understand? They're conditioned because they're conditioned. Get it? Okay. All right. So now let's go back. Okay. Okay. Where are we? Okay. So under proper intentions or thoughts, actually these first three, kind, loving, thought, benevolent, and unselfishness, will overcome the first and second poisons. You know that? Of greed and rage or anger, right? If you are always compassionate, merciful, you're definitely not angry or have no rage, right? You shouldn't have any. Anyway, okay? And if you're unselfish, that will help eliminate greed a lot, right? Or reduce greed, right? If you're unselfish. If there's no me and you. Hey, I get this much. I get 60%, you get 40%. Or I get 90%, you get 10%. Just no me and you, right? Or me against you. Or us against them, right? So that will help eliminate greed, right? Make sense? Okay, so that's the three poisons, okay? So 1 and 2 will help us, if we do it properly, it will help us reduce or eliminate the three poisons of the mind. These are all called the mind because they all start with the mind. Ignorance starts with the mind. It doesn't start outside, it starts from our mind, right? Or that's where the source, you can say source, okay? Same as greed and rage, right? Okay, all right, okay. Let's go to C. Now C, I lumped three of the things, which are the what we call the ethical conduct or moral discipline category. The three items are what? Proper speech, words, proper actions or conducts, and proper livelihood. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. So it just means the first one is you have to refrain or do your best to not to have the four vices of speech, which are what? The four categories. I mean, you can have different categories, but in general, it's what? Lies, slander, double talk, and idle speech. Okay, or divisive talk, double talk, forked tongue. Okay, or flattery. Okay, so those are the four items, and that's the speech part. Then the action part, the proper action or conduct, is to abstain from the three evil conducts or you can say three bad things that a body can perform, right? A body can do, which is what? A body can kill, right? Yeah, it's the mind that kills. Yeah, that's true. But if you have no body, well, how can you kill? You can't, right? Okay, so we can kill, and you can steal, and you can have lust. Okay, so lust is sort of yeah, you can have lust of the mind too, but that remains unmanifestable, right? Non-manifestable, right? Non-manifested or whatever. Okay, all right. So that's what it is. Okay, so it's basically killing, stealing, and lust. Okay, the three evil conducts of the body, and also the last part, avoid the what's the proper livelihood or occupation? It's to avoid these 5 types of occupation, meaning we deal with what? Weapons. I make weapons. I make whatever. Okay, knives. Knives. Okay. I raise animals. I'm a cattle rancher. I'm a sheep rancher, or whatever. Or I own a chicken farm, or whatever, or turkey farm, or whatever. Or whatever. And obviously, you raise those animals not for pets, but to slaughter, right? Okay, for food. Okay, so that's not good either, because that's one of the heavy karma. Okay, that's a severe karma. To kill animals, even that's a severe karma. Okay, all right, that will cause severe karma. All right, and then slavery, obviously. Okay, intoxicants. Alcohol. I sell liquor. I sell drugs. Whatever. Okay, I deal in drugs. I deal in liquor, or I own a wine vineyard. Yeah, why not? Good stuff, right? Okay, all right, and then poisons. Okay, all right. So those are the 5 things we should avoid. So these are very basic stuff. Okay, all right. Okay, so now let's go to the more detail. I don't have time. Okay, let's go to D, which is proper efforts. Okay, so the next 3 are what we call the concentration, or dhyana, or samadhi. You can call it samadhi. Samadhi is the higher level, okay? More intense level. Okay, so D, which is called proper efforts or vigors. 6, that's the 6th path. It just means we have to be diligent. We have vigorous or diligent endeavor or effort, okay, in 4 areas, okay, which is to consolidate and increase the existing good or wholesome qualities, okay, to promote good or wholesome qualities that have not risen yet, okay, to discard existing evil or unwholesome qualities, and 4, to prevent evil and wholesome qualities that have not yet arisen. So that covers every possibility, right? Existing and future. You can say not yet arisen means future, okay? Now, generally, what's a wholesome or unwholesome? Okay, let me define what's unwholesome first. Generally speaking, unwholesome includes the 3 poisons. The 3 poisons, the four vices of speech, and the 3 evils. Okay, those 10. Remember those 10 evils? They call it 10 evils. It's also here in the glossary term here. Okay, so let's go to the glossary term here. We come to the 10. Where are we? 10. Here you go. The 10 evil deeds or sins. Okay, those are generally, there are more, but this is the, an example or basic list. Okay, of the 10 evil deeds or sins or unwholesome qualities. Okay, that's what they are. Okay, these 10, right? Greed, rage, ignorance, lies, abusive language or malicious language, divisive about flattery, killing, stealing, and lust. Okay, so those are generally 10 unwholesome. All right. Okay, so the 10 wholesome is basically not any of these. Okay, so that's an way to. Okay, all right. So that's what we mean by wholesome. All right. Now, even these category. There is at a higher level. Actually, this is we are looking at stressing at external. What we say, what we think, what we. Okay. Actually, there's another component to another aspect of it at a higher level. It's the internal side, but we don't need to go into detail. But that's more advanced level. But there's an internal component too. All right. Okay. So just to let you know. All right. Okay. Now let's go to mindfulness. Okay. That's the seventh. Okay, path. It's basically awareness of our deeds, words, and thoughts in 4 general areas. Okay? With regard to mind, it's impermanent. It's called anicca. Okay? With regard to feelings or emotions or sensations, are the cause of suffering, dukkha. With regard to dharmas, or some people call it mental qualities or states, it's all things. All things, okay, as dependent with no self-identity or self. So that includes consciousness, etc. Okay, have no self-nature. That's called anatta. Okay, so you have anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Those are the first 3. Okay, all right. Then the 4th one is with regard to body as impure. Okay, as impure. Remember these 4 I mentioned? What are the 4 inverted views? You guys remember I just mentioned earlier? Okay, so if you notice, the 4 inverted views are the opposite of these. Understand? Okay. Remember? Okay. No. Okay. All right. So the first 3 are what we call the 3 Dharma seals. Remember I said in the beginning, what's the proper view and understanding? To understand that there are the Dharma seals. Okay, these are called the Dharma seals. Now, what's a Dharma seal? What's considered a Dharma seal? Actually, Dharma seal in traditional or in mainstream Buddhism, generally speaking, Buddhism, is that they are 3, you can say, proofs, 3 items, 3 qualities that all Buddha's teachings share or have. Okay, so one way to tell, this teaching is Buddhism or non-Buddhist is if whether or not they have the 3 Dharma seals. Get it? That's what it really means. That's one way to look at it. Okay, the 3 Dharma seals. Okay, meaning anicca, impermanence, suffering, and anatta. Understand? Okay, so that means they have what? They are opposed to the inverted views. Remember the 4 inverted views? Buddhism, right? So in all of his teachings, 5,000 plus or 3,000, 5,000 plus scriptures or sutras or sermons, they all contain these 3 components. Get it? The 3 Dharma seals. Okay? They all contain elements of these 3. Make sense? All right? Okay. Then, also, it just so happens the proper mindfulness, these 4 items, are the first set of the 7 categories. Okay, what are the first set of the 7 categories? Okay, let's go up here. Okay, coming up, right up here, right up here, right up here. Okay, it's called the 4 foundations or 4-fold stages of mindfulness. Okay, that's the mind and permanent. Also say something about. Okay, I'll say now. That's the very basic meaning. Then there's a higher level meaning too, but you can read it. I mean, we don't have to go into detail because there's too much. There's a higher level. Okay, there's a higher level over here. So it's in that glossary list. Okay. Okay, so these are the first group that, and this is considered the first group. Why is this the first group of the 7 categories? So these are 4 items, right? 4 items, first group. Okay, then there's a second group right here. The second group, the 4 proper efforts, and then the third group, which we will go into on 8th pathway. Okay, so that's 12 already. 12 out of 37. Okay, why is it the first? Because that's the foundation. Okay, of enlightenment. You can say the foundation. So that's why the 3 Dharma seals are so important. You get it? The 3 Dharma seals, because that's included in here, right? The 3 Dharma seals are in here, right? Okay. So, yeah, I know. The reason why this is very important is because this was the 4 mindfulness was the very first item mentioned by Buddha to Ananda, when Ananda asked Buddha, right, what teaching, what is the most central part of your teaching that we have to always bear in mind, always have to grasp? So Buddha mentioned the 4 mindfulness first. Get it? Okay, so that's the first set. All right? Okay? All right, so that's why it's called, okay, the 4 mindfulness. All right? Okay, we know what the 4 proper efforts are. We got it? Okay, now let's go to the, so that's what is called the first set. Okay, now let's go to the last path, which is proper concentration. Okay, or samadhi. It's number 8. It's to develop a calm, non-attached, concentrated mind based on the 4 meditative states, which is basically this. We don't have to go into detail. It's called the 4 dhyana states, but we don't have to go into detail. And to aid in the attainment of wisdom and enlightenment. Okay, very interesting. Okay, so these are the 4. You can say the 4 parts. Okay, the 4. By having proper concentration, it will allow us to have a strong aspiration or zeal to cultivate to Buddha. That increases our faith. Okay, it allows us to have more vigorous effort. It increases focus, diligence. Okay, and intense concentration consciousness, which elevates our mindfulness, and intense contemplation or discernment. Okay, it develops divine wisdom. Okay, that's the 3rd set of category. Remember on the glossary here, the 3rd set is here. Strong aspiration, which increases our faith, vigorous will, increases focus, constant mindfulness. Okay, that's the 3rd category. Okay, the 3rd set, right? 3rd set of the 7 categories. Okay, all right. So if you notice in the Eightfold Path, which is already it's the 7th set. Remember I said in the background section, right? It also contains these 4, the first 3 sets. Okay, the first set, the second set, and the 3rd set. Okay, all right. So it's 8 plus 12. That's 20. That's 20 of the 37. It's already prima facie. And that's on the surface. Okay, prima facie means on the surface. Okay, superficial. Okay, contained in the Eightfold Path. Okay, all right. So that's why the Eightfold Path is so central. All right. Okay, that's why Buddha chose the Eightfold Path as his first topic. Okay, in his very first teaching. He didn't talk about the Avantasaka Sutra yet. Okay, which is it's kind of advanced level, but that's okay. Even bodhisattvas couldn't understand him. So anyway, or he didn't talk about Nirvana Sutra, which is the last sutra. Okay, but anyway. So in conclusion, the cultivation of noble has actually embodied all 37 branches of Asian life. That include the 4th set of 5 good roots and 5 set of 5 practices, which help overcome or control the 5 hindrances. These are the 5 hindrances right here. Okay, to the right, to the left are the 4 sets of good roots and 5 faculties. Okay, so what are they? They are, okay, if you go to here, okay, coming up right here. The 5 good roots, 5 powers, okay? These are the 4. Now they repeat because one is a root and the other one is a power or a faculty. So that means all, okay, so there's a foundation and then there is a use. That's another way of saying, or application, okay? So that's the faith, vigor, mindfulness, and concentration. So right off the bat, the Eightfold Path has vigor, mindfulness, and concentration. Remember those 3? These are what? These are the the last 3. Remember under 3, the last 3, the proper efforts, proper mindfulness, and proper concentration is here, right? Right here. Proper efforts, proper mindfulness, proper concentration. It's these 3. So where did faith and wisdom come from? Well, faith is derived from concentration. Wisdom is also derived from concentration. Understand? So that's why in here, we have under proper concentration, there's an aspiration or zeal to cultivate. That's the faith. That will enhance our faith or increase that. And then the intense discernment will develop divine wisdom. Okay? So that's included. So that's part of these 2. Get it? So faith will what? Overcome or control doubt. That's the 5 hindrances or obstacles. Okay? Vigor will overcome depression and sloth or laziness. Understand? Okay? Mindfulness will overcome desires or wildness, heedlessness. Heedlessness. That means we don't care. Okay? We don't care the consequences. Okay? Whatever. Okay? Concentration will what? Overcome distraction or wildness. Right? That's why I say concentrate. Focus. Right? If you focus, you'll become less distracted. Right? Intense focus. Zen-like focus. Okay? Zen meditation. Actually, this 4th samadhi, these 4 proper, at the higher level, it's called Zen. It should be Zen. Okay? Zen. Actually, dhyana, Can, in Sanskrit, it's translated into Chinese as Can. Means Zen. It means Zen. Okay? And one aspect of Zen, the higher level of Zen, is called Samadhi or Sanmei. Okay? Alright, okay. So that's what it is. Okay? So actually, the Noble Eightfold Path contain also the 4th set and the 5th set. Get it? Okay, so that's 32 already. 30, that's, let's say, 12 plus 8, 20, 25. That's 20, 35, 30, 20, that's 30. Sorry, that's 30. That's 30 cards. Then there's the last set. The 7th set of 7 factors of alignment. Okay, that's all this. Okay, now, what I reference right here, these are based on the part of the Eightfold Path. Mindfulness goes to 7, right? Discernment or investigation is 1. It's proper understanding, proper view. Okay. Vigor and determination is number 6. Joy and rapture is 2 and 3. 2 and 7. Okay, 2 and 7. 7 is the 2 and 8. Sorry, 8 is at the samadhi level. 2 is at the basic level. Basic level, higher level. Joy. Okay. All right. Because what did I have right here? Let's see, right here. I said right here. Okay, I said elimination of all wrong views, right? Under proper intention, it'll lead to contentment and happiness and joy. Okay, so that's more the I say physical or outward, external. That's internal too, but anyway. Okay, so that's the more base level. That's talking about base level. Okay, whereas at number 8, samadhi level is joy and rapture. Okay, but we can go into detail later. The joy is right here. The joy is due to joy and pleasure from detachment and from concentration. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, anyway, and then serenity or tranquility of body and mind is 2 and 8 also. Okay, serenity is this, ease. Okay, is right here. Okay, right here. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So and number 8, it's due to this dhyana, the 3rd dhyana, which is equanimity and mindfulness. Okay, all right. Okay, and then concentration or clear awareness is number 8. It's our dhyana. All right, it's samadhi at the higher level. Okay, or calmness. You can say calmness. Yeah, serenity is calmness. Okay, so all right. So actually, hopefully, I'm trying to wrap. I just one main point is that even though the Eightfold Path seems simple, right? Just eight items under those three categories, they contain all the essential components, if you will, of all Buddha's teachings. Get it? Of those 37 branches. Get it? Okay? Or the 7 sets. Okay? So it embodies also the 3 aspects of cultivation of our mind, mouth, and body, right? 心口身, right? Okay? And the 10 wholesome practices, or 10 goodwill measures of what? Eliminate the 3 poisons of the mind, remember we talked about earlier? Of the mouth, the 4 vices of the mouth, and also the 3 evils of the body. Alright? So that's the most basic, okay? So it's also very similar, by the way, to the 5 stages, you know? The 5 stages, yeah. 格物, 直至, 诚意, 正修, and 正心正修身, right? That's it. It's those. Actually, it's very close, very similar. You know that? It's very similar. As a matter of fact, number one is number 1 and 2. One is number 1 is 直至. No. Number 8 is 格物, because 8 means detached, to become detached. Concentration, not detachment. Then that will lead to number 1, which is 直至, proper view, proper understanding. You know, to the higher level, right? Proper view, proper understanding. And then number 2 would be 诚意, or the sincerity. You can say sincerity, you know, or yeah, sincere faith. Yeah, that's sincerity. Yeah, you can say sincerity, faith. Okay, and then 3, 4, 5 are the 修身. Okay, 3, 4, 5, and then the 诚心. 正心, no, it's a 诚意, right? 诚意. And then 诚心 is the proper mindfulness. Okay? So that's really the higher level. Okay? So it is similar to that. And also it has the basic path of cultivation for the small vehicle. We talk about the small vehicle here. This is called the small vehicle. Okay? That will lead to the more advanced, which is the intermediate and the advanced level, which is over here. Okay? Advanced. Okay? And supreme level, okay? So, but that's more advanced, so I don't want to, go into detail. That's another topic, okay? All right? That's another topic. You can see, okay, it's in here, okay? So anyway, all right? And so they contain all the basic foundation so that we can help attain alignment. So as a cultivation on a journey, we now have a better insight and understanding of the Noble and its teachings. And when practiced diligently and properly, it will lead to profound insight and liberation and wisdom and ultimately liberation. Now, what's most important is this, though. I have to. It's not shown here, but it's shown in the spreadsheet here. It's this item. Oops, sorry. We have to balance when we start out. We have to maintain a balance or equilibrium between wisdom and concentration. Okay, so between 1 and 8, 1 and 2. Right? Proper view, proper understanding, proper intention, and 8, proper concentration. We have to maintain a balance. That's the only way. All right? Okay? So I know I said a lot. It's a lot to absorb. I told you. Okay. So anyway, many things that maybe I didn't say properly. I ask for the Buddha's forgiveness. So thank you very much.